well, no doubt, there must be some kind of overhaul in the system of the Nigerian Immigration Service, as well as every system that we put in place for data collection. Just yesterday, we were talking about the telephone operators matters, and talking about the register, where it has become so impossible for some people to get the information out, just in case the security agencies would want to contact some of the operators to get some of the data from these numbers. You find them
from a particular number.
From a particular number.
No, but it's only, you cannot, by law, they cannot give it to you unless there is a criminal action in which that person you want the data is being investigated for. Nobody can, it's not that everybody can go to MTN or any other, that you need a data of calls from somebody. They will not release unless there is a criminal investigation being done on that particular person. In that case, they could subpoena the calls of that person to go through it. Nobody can just go and every time they give you that, there must be proof that there's an investigation, a criminal one going against that person.
Because, excuse me, we're trying to look at the system again. We'll go back to the system. It doesn't look like this is a watertight system for the Nigerian Immigration Service. There are so many loopholes. That is why so many questions are popping in from this particular costly mistake we have made. It is an embarrassment to the country.
It is. Whatever happens and puts our country in a bad light is an embarrassment. But we don't have to cry over a lot over spilled milk. We've been caught. We have to investigate. We have to make sure that our systems are foolproof, to make sure that the machines that are required to detect false passport and defaced passport are installed in our gate of entry and everything, and that information is shared with all the security agencies. If that is done, we can also have a sure way of dealing with those who come into this country in ways that we don't even know.
Sorry, Mark, but should we be thinking of changing our passports to maybe a better and secure document?
But our passport have most of the new things that other passports have. You could read it through machines. And
absolutely.
Yes, we have all those ones. So I don't see any problem about our passport. The fact is that those who check those things, who give visas, how well trained are they? Do they have the required machines for efficiency and everything? Can they dictate somebody who is using a false passport, or somebody who has used about triple passports at a time? These are the things that we should train our immigration officers to do. If they are not well trained for, then they should go for retraining. That's the most important thing. They are the gatekeepers. So we must give them all that it takes for them to make sure that unwanted people are not allowed to come into this country. But if you don't give them that, we'll still go back to this issue again some time to come.
Some people will say that this incident could fracture Nigeria's confidence in the ability of their immigration service. Do you think that they should be addressing people at this time?
They should. In fact, yes, it does worry. It should worry Nigerians that this sort of a thing happened there. But the fact also remains that no system is totally foolproof. Even in the United States, where they have all the best of equipment, people still filter through. But the issue is that the system is so strong that they could still go back and get them if they want. Do we have something like that in this country? No. Some people will come into this country and then they are given a limited period to stay. They could stay here for about 20 years. And in most cases, we believe that they said that our immigration or customs officers have been compromised. We don't know how far it is, but I've seen people stay in this country, rent a whole house. People from their own country come in, they keep them there. And then we don't have records of them. If we do, then it's not been used the way it should be. Because if you have outstayed your period, you should be picked up and sent back to your country. And if you failed in the time specific stated in your passport, then definitely you shouldn't enter this country again for the next 10 years. Even in countries where you're given the right to stay for 2 years, and if you stay the 2 years completely at a stretch, you'll not be allowed to go back to that country again for over 10 years. That 2 years is given to you so that you can go back for 2 years period, not for you to go and stay in that particular place for 2 years. So if you adopt it and then adhere to these strict rules, well, I think we'll be some way to resolving these issues.
And then the scary part, people will always ask, what if there are some in this country already?
That is what the questioning of this man the result will come. Who is he meeting here? Where is he going to stay? Who are those that own those properties that the man is going to stay? If you answer each of these questions, you can link up people that are aiding and abetting issues like this. You don't see him as an individual. A man coming into Nigeria, no address to where he's going to stay. You gave him a visa.
You don't think this arrest by the authorities in Egypt has jeopardized a big, trap of unearthing so many facts?
Yes, I know.
If they had allowed it to go on the ground and trail him with all the maybe Interpol knowing that this is the man we're looking out for, we just might have
we have got a handful of information.
Yes, a handful of information.
But now that he's been stopped there, it becomes difficult for us. But also the person who issued the visa, there are questions on your visa application forms. Where are you going to stay? If we go back to the person that issued the visa, and if our visa application clearly indicates those provisions, then definitely we could be on the right track also, because if he's going to stay in a particular house, now he's not been able to reach here, we have to go back to that place to find out exactly what is happening in that place. If somebody is supposed to pick him, then we can also know who is supposed to pick him from that house. What do they use that house for? Is it a sleeper cell that could be activated any time to cause havoc in the country? These are the things that our security agencies will take into account.
We don't even know if the country has been placed on alert, or what kind of alerts. At the borders on red alert, minimum level of alert.
It depends on the type of security that we feel that we are threatened with. That determines the level of alert. Individual infiltration might not give you, it might not raise the alert level to any decibel. The fact is that, he has been caught somewhere. But then it gives us time to review our systems. It gives us time to review our systems. What do we do if somebody has infiltrated to the country? How do we trace the person?
Shouldn't we revisit all of those cases, the ones in Abuja, in Kano, that has been linked to terrorists in this country? Shouldn't we go back and look, what do we glean of all of this? Any connections with this recent case? And
I think they are looking into it. The security organizations are looking into it. I strongly believe that. The appointment of the National Security Advisor, the new National Security, I think is a very intelligent person. And I think he's very serious with his job. I believe that himself and his officers will do the right thing for the country.
It looks like they like to do things quietly.
Of course, you don't have to, as a state actor, you don't announce that much. Because as you announce, you give the people information that they've known our ways.
No, but there are certain things that the populace require of you. You don't leave them in perpetual wondering,
it's only when you have resolved the issue that you come and tell your people you've done it. Because if you tell them midway, you give insight to those who are trying to fault the system that, oh, they've caught us in that area, so let's look for a different way. Again, you don't come out. Sometimes, the broadcast, the media and all that, the way they ask questions and also publicize information from me, it's not very proper also. Because in the sense that, in some countries, I'm sure you must have heard of this thing, you issue a D notice when things like that are taken with.
But do we have any notice about this kind of thing?
I don't know your relationship with the government and all that, but there must be a meeting where you have a D notice on something that borders on national security. We don't want you to talk about it. No, and it should be genuine national security issues, not one that will repress dissent or anything. But if there's an issue of genuine national concern, they can issue a D notice. You don't discuss it. Because, for terrorists, sometimes publicity is the oxygen of their survival. When you announce that they've done this and all that, that's what they live on. That's what they thrive on. That's why during the Margaret Thatcher's regime in England, the IRA people that are caught, if they talk on television, you don't even hear their voice. Because it gives them the air to do what, that's the oxygen they need.
All right, then thank you very much indeed. Professor Charles Dokubo is the Head Division of Defense and Strategic Analysis at the NIIA. Thank you for your thoughts today.
Oh, thanks for having me.